Welcome to the Metis podcast. We're jumping straight to the Eastern Conference Finals today. It's the New York Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers.
That's right.
You shared a whole stack of stuff, articles, stats, fan takes, and
Yep.
we're going to dive deep. Try to figure out what the key factors are, what you should expect, and maybe our perspective on how it all shakes out.
Exactly. We've got some really interesting angles. Stuff looking back at historical champions, fan chatter from places like Reddit, even some notes from player trainers. It should give you a pretty comprehensive picture of this matchup.
Okay, let's start with that historical stuff because, well, it's kind of interesting. One of the articles basically says neither of these teams really fits the traditional championship mold, right?
Yeah, not really. Look back to 1980. Since then, only one champ, the 95 Rockets, I think won the title with fewer than 52 regular season wins, adjusting for lockouts and stuff.
And neither the Knicks nor the Pacers hit that 52-win mark this year.
Nope. And then there's that Phil Jackson rule, the 40-20 thing, wins being more than double your losses.
Right, I remember that one.
Well, only 4 champs since 1980 didn't meet that either. And again, the Knicks and Pacers didn't quite get there this season. It often points to teams that avoid those long, damaging losing streaks.
And it gets tougher when you look more recently, like since 2000.
Yeah, much tougher. The vast majority, like 21 out of 25 champs, had a top 5 net rating in the regular season.
Okay, hold on. For anyone listening, what exactly is net rating? Like, what does that number tell you?
Good question. It's basically your point difference per 100 possessions. So how much you outscore opponents, adjusted for pace. A top 5 number means you're generally beating teams pretty comfortably, consistently.
Gotcha. So 21 of 25 champs had that top 5 net rating. What else?
And 22 of those 25 had either the current MVP or a former MVP on the roster. Every single champion since 2000 had at least one of those two things.
Wow. Okay. And the Knicks and Pacers?
Neither has a top 5 net rating, and neither has an MVP, current or former. So yeah, they're bucking the trend just by being here.
The article laid out like 6 criteria, didn't it?
It did. The 40-20 rule, the top 5 net rating, strong offense and defense, like top 10 in both, or maybe top 5, top 20 MVP talent, elite shooting measured by EFG percent.
Exact field goal percentage, right?
Yep, and deep playoff experience. Most champs hit 4 or 5 of those. Even the '04 Pistons, sort of the famous outlier, hit 3.
So historically speaking, this is a pretty unusual conference finals matchup.
Definitely sets the stage. Now, shifting to the Pacers, Tyrese Haliburton. His regular season was, well, something else.
Yeah. What stood out?
He became only the second player ever in NBA history to average 9 assists or more with better than a 5-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio over, a decent number of games, minimum 41. That's just incredibly careful and effective playmaking.
It's insane efficiency.
Yeah.
But some of the fan stuff you said, it mentioned he wasn't always consistent. Like periods of amazing play mixed with some lulls.
That's a fair point, yeah. You see that in some of the discussions. But there was this one Reddit thread highlighting a stretch later in the season, 24 games, I think, after he came back from something, where he was averaging like 19 points, 9 assists, almost 2 steals, and only 1.5 turnovers. Shooting lights out, too, over 51% from the field, 45% from 3. And the Pacers went 18-6 in that stretch.
Okay. That's the high end of what he can do. But it's still only his second playoff run ever.
It is. Yeah. So the experience factor is definitely there. But on the flip side, the guy seems to be incredibly clutch.
Oh, yeah.
Get this stat. On shots to tie or take the lead in the final 90 seconds of games this season, he was 10 for 11, 91%.
Wow. 10 for 11.
Including 3 of those shots right here in these playoffs. That kind of late-game nerve is huge.
No doubt.
Yeah.
His overall playoff numbers look solid, like 18 points, almost 11 assists, 6 rebounds. Good shooting percentage overall, but the three-point shot has dipped a bit, down near 30%.
Yeah, that's something to watch. But the team, the Pacers, they've been here before, second straight year in the conference finals. You feel like they're really pushing to get over that hump, make the finals for the first time since 2000.
And their style is just fast.
Right.
Really fast.
Oh, yeah. Way faster than the Knicks, like 4 possessions per game faster in the playoffs. And they use their bench. They'll go 10 deep sometimes. And that full court press.
Explain that press a bit. What's the goal when they do that?
It's all about disruption. Pressure the ball handler right away, try to force turnovers, speed the other team up before they can even get into their offense, make them uncomfortable.
Some of the fan comments were really high on them, like basically the best team since January.
Yeah, the confidence is definitely there in the fan base. They point to the team chemistry, that speed, the depth as big advantages over New York. Saw some Pacers in 5 predictions even.
Hmm. There was also that mention of them maybe feeling like they were seen as lucky last year, trying to prove themselves this time.
Seems like it. Bit of a chip on their shoulder, maybe. And it's not just Halliburton. One comment really noted how their role players seem to consistently hit big shots when needed. That depth scoring is crucial.
Right, okay, let's flip it. The New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson.
Where do you even start? The guy's playoff run has been just phenomenal, averaging what, 31.5 points, 8 assists, shooting pretty well overall. He's just carrying them offensively.
Yeah, and not just this year. He's apparently one of only 6 guys ever to average 30-plus in the playoffs for one team over at least 25 games. That's like Jordan LeBron territory.
Exactly. And just in these 2025 playoffs, it's even higher, 32.4 points per game, 5 40-point games already. He's been absolutely relentless.
And fourth quarter stuff is crazy. Over 100 points in the fourth quarters of just the first 10 playoff games. That's just clutch personified.
Yeah. And we got those insights from his trainer, too, which were fascinating, talking about his laser focus on winning a championship
Right.
and how he trains specifically for those late game situations, simulating the pressure, the fatigue.
Love that anecdote about the one-on-one games after workouts. Refuses to leave until he wins. That tells you a lot.
For sure. And the Knicks, as a team, they broke that long drought, right? First conference final since 2000.
Yep. And they clinched the Celtics series at home. First time doing that since 2002. Plus, those huge comebacks against Boston showed some serious resilience.
And the context from last year's series against these Pacers is so important. Remember how banged up the Knicks were?
Oh, yeah. Randall out, OG missed time, Robinson, Hart playing hurt, Brunson had a broken hand. It was rough.
Compared to now, where the reports are saying they're fully healthy, that's a massive difference heading into this rematch.
It has to be. And their style has changed a bit in the playoffs, too, hasn't it?
Definitely. They've really slowed the pace down, locked in on defense, and shortened that rotation, sometimes down to just 7 guys getting major minutes.
The fan chatter really focuses on Brunson and Kate Karl-Anthony Towns as the scorers, Brunson being the clutch guy, and, of course, the MSG home court advantage.
Yeah, KT is seen as a huge key. Someone mentioned he had phenomenal stats against Indiana this year. They need that consistent second option.
And the defensive matchups are going to be huge. OG Anunoby on Siakam, Mikal Bridges on Halliburton. That's where games can swing. Though someone wondered if OG has struggled with Siakam before.
That's something to keep an eye on, for sure. But even with the heavy minutes their starters played against Boston, like 40 minutes a game,
Yeah.
they didn't really look gassed. The Knicks seemed determined to control the pace, make it a physical series, play their game.
Though there was that one fan worried about KT maybe getting tired or into foul trouble. Pacers might try to attack that.
Could be. But the Knicks also showed they can adjust. Like against Boston, they started switching more defensively with Brunson and Towns, used Bridges more to initiate offense. They're not static.
And that Game 6 win over Boston was apparently their biggest playoff win ever. So they're peaking? Maybe.
Seems like it. And yeah, there's definitely a feeling among some Knicks fans that they're being slightly underrated in the previews for this series.
Okay, so boiling it down, key matchups. What should you really be watching for? That pace battle feels like number 1, right? Pacers want to fly, Knicks want to grind.
Absolutely central. Whoever dictates tempo has a huge edge. And then inside, Miles Turner versus KT. Turner's known for his defense. How does KT handle that? How does he defend Turner? Big questions there.
And those wing matchups, we mentioned OG on Siakam, Bridges on Halliburton. Crucial individual battles.
Definitely. Then there's the bench depth question. Pacers go deeper, but is their bench better when matched up against the Knicks' top guys playing heavy minutes? It's debatable.
Something the Knicks do well is hit the offensive glass, right? Yeah. Could that slow down the Pacers' transition?
Absolutely. If the Knicks can get second chances and force the Pacers to take the ball out under their own basket, it disrupts that fast break rhythm they love.
For Indiana, we know Halliburton can hit those massive shots late in games.
Yeah, that clutch factor is undeniable. He won't shy away from the big moment.
And for the Knicks, it's Brunson versus the pressure. Can he handle the full court press? Potential double teams? Maybe they use Bridges or Hart to help bring the ball up sometimes?
I think they'll have to mix it up. You can't just let Brunson face that pressure every single time down the floor. And like we said, KT's consistency is just vital for them. They need his scoring reliably.
Looking back at the regular season, Knicks won 2 of 3, looked pretty good. But Mathurin went off in the Pacers' win. So Indiana can hurt them.
For sure. But the Knicks keep coming back to it. We're healthy now. That's the mantra. Last year was last year because of injuries.
All right, prediction time. Based on everything, the Knicks being healthy, Brunson playing like an MVP, beating Boston the way they did, where do we land?
Okay, yeah. Weighing it all up. I think the New York Knicks take the series in 6 games. So, 4-2 Knicks.
Knicks in 6. And game 1. It's at MSG.
Yeah, I think the Knicks win game 1. They'll want to set the tone at home.
Okay. Players you absolutely have to watch closely.
For the Pacers, it's got to be Tyrese Halliburton. His playmaking, his clutch shots, just his overall engine for them.
And for the Knicks, obviously Jalen Brunson. But who else?
You got to watch Karl Anthony Towns. His scoring efficiency and that matchup with Turner are huge. And defensively, how does OG Anunoby handle Siakam? And how does Mikal Bridges fare against Halliburton? Those matchups could decide a lot.
So wrapping it up, what does this all mean? It's just a fascinating contrast, isn't it? Styles, talent.
It really is. And yeah, the history books might say neither team quite fits the usual champion profile, but hey, the playoffs are always full of surprises, right?
True. The Pacers' speed and depth versus the Knicks' physicality and defense. Brunson's sheer brilliance versus Halliburton's playmaking. The Garden factor. Lots to chew on.
At the end of the day, I think it comes down to the Knicks imposing their will, controlling that tempo, and can their main guys, Brunson and KT primarily, deliver consistently under this intense pressure?
That seems like the crux of it.
So, here's a final thought for you to mull over. We talked a lot about pace and player matchups, but how much will the coaching adjustments matter? You know, the in-game strategies, the counter moves from Thibodeau and Carlisle, that tactical battle could really swing the momentum, couldn't it?
That's a great point. Something we didn't dive super deep into, but it'll definitely be a huge storyline to watch as the games unfold. Thanks for diving deep with us today.